we will be starting with the first paper today, which is paper number 53, which is an empirical study of evaluating the correlation between class stability and bad smells. So we would like to ask the presenter, please, to start on that one. And please let me just provide guidance here.
دكتور الصوت راح الصوت دكتور راح.
So let me start again. I'm not sure whether I was here or not. Again.
Yes. Okay, doctor.
Yeah, yes, bro. We will start with
that there is
Dr.
an issue.
Mohammed.
Our technical
No.
coordinator, are you there, please?
Yeah, I'm there.
Now we can hear you.
Your
doctor,
voice.
we can hear.
Dr. Mohammed, can you share your paper?
Okay.
I cannot share my screen. Host
Yes.
disabled.
So we need to start with paper number 53.
No, you
As
are
I said,
allowed.
I introduced myself. I don't know whether you have heard me or not, but I'm Mohammed Aoudi. I'm a professor of cancer care informatics, and I've been in the field of software engineering and health informatics for the last 3 decades, if I may say, almost.
Yes, bro.
Okay.
So I would like, please, the first presenter to
but I cannot
53.
share my screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
The rules dictate that 10 minutes are provided for each candidate, including questions. So we have to finish in 10 minutes time for each really paper.
Mohammed,
sorry, I cannot share my screen.
And I would like to ask, please, the first presenter, paper 53.
Yeah, but I cannot share my screen. Host, give me a message that host
paper
disabled
53,
participant screen sharing. I cannot share my screen.
Paper 53 is not there, the presenter.
No.
Okay,
then we will have to move into paper.
Okay, what about now, Mohammed? What about
8,
now?
which is
yes, now I can
approach
share. Yes,
for
now I can
automated
share.
embedded systems.
Okay, good, Dr. Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed is now sharing.
Okay,
yes.
So can you see my screen now?
This is going to be Mohammed Yahya. Mohammed, are you live doing it?
Yes,
or it's a video pre-recorded session?
No. I will do it live, inshallah. Can you hear me, Doctor?
I can't hear.
We
I mean, can you? I can't hear.
We can hear you.
But
any
the
audio
doctor
coming out?
Can't hear me.
Maybe the problem with Prof. Mohammed Aoudi, I think. We can hear you, Dr. Mohammed Yahya.
Doctor, I can hear you, but you cannot hear me. Maybe the issue with your speaker, I think. I can hear you, and I think other can hear me.
Yes.
So if you send it through the chat that we can hear you, Doctor, but you cannot hear us. I think he cannot hear any.
Well, I can't hear anybody.
Yeah. I think that. Maybe he mute the speaker, I think. If you can send him a message through the chat windows.
Let me check my audio again.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, Doctor, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay,
good.
Thank you, Doctor.
That's good. Okay.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. First of all, I am so excited to be here in this important conference. I mean the International Arab Conference on Information Technology. My name is Mohammed Husni Yahya, and I will present our topic, which is an empirical study of evaluating the correlation between class stability and bad smell. So this is the outline of this presentation.
Can you present yourself, if you don't mind?
Okay, I am a PhD holder, graduated from KFUBM, King Fahd University of Petroleum and Mineral in Computer Science and Minerals and Computer Science and Engineering before 3 years. Now I am trying to work in King Saud University, inshallah. My research interest in Arabic computing in general.
Inshallah, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. According to software quality standard ISO 9126, maintainability has 4 quality attributes: analyzability, changeability, testability, and stability. So stability can be defined as attributes of software that bear on the risk of unexpected effect of modification. So Martin Fowler, who's a specialist in object-oriented analysis and design define bad smells as certain structures in the code that suggest the possibility of refactoring. So bad smells may provide a more scientific evaluation on where and how to refactor a class. So bad smells can be considered as a measure of software maintainability. So this is the objective and hypothesis of this work. The prediction of stability is challenging since that it is a complex attribute. Bad smells as design flaws may affect the software quality attributes such as stability. So the correlation between bad smells and software stability is needed. So to achieve our objective in this work, we study the relationship between stability and class stability and bad smells. So we state this hypothesis: classes with higher values of stability are associated with lower count of bad smells in object-oriented software. So this is a brief literature review. The slides show again a brief literature review about some definitions of software stability and class stability and some of their measurements. Also, bad smells in object-oriented software are investigated in this research work. We also investigate the relationship between bad smells and stability and other software quality attributes in this work. Some example of bad smells that we use in this work. For example, feature envy in the third row, if you can see in the feature envy, is a code smells which occurs in methods, and it is a method that is more interesting in the data of another class than the one it actually is in. We call this feature envy bad smells or code smells. So this is the experiment. This is the object of our experiment. We use Eclipse, which is an open source Java project, and we use Borland together to capture bad smells in the classes. We use actually some of the 22 bad smells of Fowler and other design flows. And we use CSM, which is a class stability metric that provided by the third author of this work. And we use Minitab to measure the degree of correlation between class stability and number of bad smells. So we use the Pearson correlation coefficient in this from this tool. And we use also Microsoft Excel for statistical analysis. So actually we use two projects again, Eclipse and Android. A total of 504 Java classes were selected from these two projects. So in this two tables, you can see these the statistics that we computed from these two projects, such as number of classes, average number of methods per class, average line of code per class, and average line of code per method. So we computed all of these statistics for the both projects. Now this is the method of our experiment. So Borland together is used to identify classes that may have bad smells. The stability metrics data for both projects are already computed by the third author of this work, I mean Dr. Shaib, using the class stability metric. Then number of metrics is going to be utilized from stability and bad smells for finding any potential correlation relating to the class level on the object-oriented paradigm. Then these metrics are going to be correlated using Minitab and the Microsoft Excel to evaluate the correlation. And based on the result, we can judge if there is a correlation between class stability and bad smells. In this slide, it's important to know the distribution of bad smells in the different versions of the projects. To study the relationship between bad smells and class stability. Here you can see in Eclipse version 2 we have 69. Then in Eclipse 3 version 3.5 we have 52, and in Eclipse 3.6 we have 61 bad smells. And these are the name of bad smells. And also we we computed bad smells for the Android project. So this is hypothesis testing. As we used 0.05 as a cutoff p-value, a bad smell that has a p-value less or equal to this cutoff in all releases is included in the relationship. And here we can see in these two tables, we can see there is a negative relation or correlation between stability and bad smells between version 2 and version 3.6, and also between 2 and version 3.6 for Eclipse, which means that there is a negative correlation, and the p-value is less than the cutoff value. So we consider this as as a negative correlation, which means that when the class stability increases, the bad smells decrease. Okay, so which means that we accept our hypothesis. We accept our hypothesis. To conclude this,
you have 2 minutes left.
Yes. خلاص الحمد لله خلص. طيب. So to conclude this research work, our objective in this research is to find empirical evidence of the association between the bad smells and the class stability. So to achieve this objective, we conduct an experiment and we find there's a negative correlation between bad smells and class stability. And here we rely, actually, the internal validity threats, we rely on the CSM computations which provided by Dr. Shaib, and also we rely on his validating of his metric, I mean CSM, and also we use only 2 open source code systems which can affect our result. For future work, we are planning to use more bad smells and more data sets such as NetBeans, and we are planning to evaluate correlation between class stability and other quality attributes. And that brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. And finally, I want to say thank you for Sultan Qaboos University for organizing this valuable conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed Yahya.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Can I just please ask you, if you don't mind, to go back to the slide where you have the hypothesis there? I think in the early ones.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's the third one, if my number is.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions from the audience? If there aren't any, then I will be asking maybe just a one question or 2 questions. If the audience would like to ask, please, if there are any ones from the audience. Okay, it seems there are no questions from the audience. Okay, so just regarding the hypothesis, I think it's just maybe it's a typo there that you have. Is just a hypothesis with SIS rather than
yes. Sorry. Yes.
It's okay. It's fine. Yeah.
Sorry for this. Yes.
It's understood. Yeah. So you're saying that classes with higher values of stability are associated with lower count of bad smells and object-oriented software, and you've concluded to generalize that the hypothesis is accepted. However, I have two issues about this. One is that you didn't set research questions, or 1 or 2, whatever, really, research questions to help you answer the hypothesis. Okay, so you answer the hypothesis just simply by looking at the Pearson's correlation, with, of course, with the research design that you have put forward, using the case studies from Eclipse and also
Eclipse and Android.
Exactly, yeah. So by accepting the hypothesis, this actually provides a generalization.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you're saying classes with higher values of stability. What defines higher values of stability? This is subjective. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Actually, the values of class stability is provided to us by the third author of this work. Yeah. He depends on 8 factors to define the stability of the class. He depends on 8 factors. I remember he depends on 8 factors that define the class stability. So one of these factors, for example, the name of the signature of methods and the class accessibility and variable types and so on. He depends on this, then he computes the class stability. Then he put some thresholds to decide is this class stable or not.
Yeah.
Actually, I mentioned this in the thread of validity that these computations are provided by the third author, and the validating of this class stability metric is done by the author himself. Yes.
So the hypothesis actually answer is still subject to number of issues. So we cannot generalize that at this moment. And also the other thing is to do with the selection of the case studies. There isn't actually a rationale behind the selection of the case studies to say why you really opted for Clips and Android.
Because they are open source. We find at that time, we find the classes of these software and open source code. So we rely on them, you use them. And actually we are planning now to use NetBeans also.
Yeah. Okay. What I mean, I'm not really undermining the selection of the case studies, but what I'm trying to say is that there has to be a rationale for the research design, so that why you opted for really these case studies in relation to answering your hypothesis, in relation to the problem itself. Okay. So to say that it's open source is not, in my view, really not really a very sort of valid really justification. You could say open source and something else that you wanted really to relate to maybe the class hierarchy, the depth, etc., the other features that you are interested in relation to the matrix that you are going to use as well and rely on. So what I want to say here is that to link those justifications for the selection of the case studies, I think this would be really a good thing to do in order to really provide an integrated research design for the research itself.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
This is very great from you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, and all the best. Thank you. And by the way, I'm actually a graduate of King Fahd University of Petroleum Minerals, but in 1985. And I taught there as well. So
and your name is Mohammed Husni.
I love the university, really.
Very, very nice. Yeah, my name is Mohammed Husni also.
Inshallah. Okay. All the best.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
All the best. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Okay, we move inshallah into the next paper, which is paper 58. And it's about model-based approach for automotive, yes, embedded systems.
Prof. Muhammad, I think he's not with us in the session now. He's not attending this paper.
It's okay. Thank you.
So we could move to another, I think also paper 68. We don't have the presenter also.
But
actually now we have 110.
Yes, okay.
141 and 150. Those are the 3 presenters here available now.
Okay, but as you know, thank you so much. You are our session manager, right? Session coordinator. Yeah. Okay, mashallah. Thank you. Just to say that as rules for this conference, that any paper that is not presented, it will not be indexed. It will not be included in the proceedings.
Yes.
Later on, so we need to make sure that this is the case. If there is a way to contact the authors of these papers, would be great.
The previous 2 days, we provide an extra session for today for those who didn't present yesterday and the day before. But for today, I think they won't get a chance because today is the closing day of the conference.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we move into paper. You're saying that only we have, sorry, the next one we have is paper 110, right? 110. Yeah. Okay, so it is, okay, thank you so much. Now we move into paper 110, which is a web site application for Internet of Things devices management. Thank you.
Yes.
We call upon the presenter, please, to introduce themselves. Or
I don't know where.
okay.
But
Maybe
can I
she
suggest
left.
something? Because you
Yeah.
have the recorded video, can you, if the author are not here,
We
authors.
don't know whether, yes, exactly, but we don't. I think our session coordinator, she knows that if there are really
Yeah,
record.
but I saw her name. She was in the Zina. She was entering the session, and I don't know now. Maybe she left.
I think what our colleague is suggesting is that if you have the video recorded, but
yeah.
If you have the for
okay,
any
can we maybe she will join us later on. Can we go with Abdul Mohsen?
Sure, but
Al-Bashir?
I assume that for the previous papers, paper 58 and paper as well 68, that you don't have the video recordings for them.
I do have only 105. I don't have, but all the participants, I have the recordings for them. So if you would like me to,
yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, this, I assume that. Thank you for the reminder from the colleague. That I assume that if you have the recording, then the sessions can be broadcast.
Okay.
Excuse me, there is a message in the chat from Abdul Mohsen. He said he can start. If you can see the message in the chat windows.
Yes.
I think Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I think the best thing to do is those people who are available online, they can do their presentation. If there is a chance, maybe they will join the other. Maybe will join us later, so they don't miss the chance.
Can I just suggest that we need to go by the order of the papers, so that if there is one recorded, if there are recorded video recorded sessions, then we go ahead straight away. If there are no video recorded sessions and the presenters are not there, we just move.
Yeah, we do have. You are the chair of the session, and we will present the recording. So it is the paper 58.
Yeah. Yes, which is the model-based approach for automotive embedded systems.
Okay.
There isn't audio there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's not clear. If you can increase, please.
Yes, the audio. Wait.
So, okay. So can you play it again, please, if the audio is working?
Yes. I will adjust the audio, please. I will adjust the audio.
Hi, this is Adnan Shaout and Shanmika Batella.
Okay, is it clear?
Our paper is a model-based approach for automotive embedded systems. We are from the University of Michigan, Dearborn campus, from the ECE department, Electrical and Computer Engineering department. In this paper, we will cover the following outlines. We will cover what are the traditional development methodologies, why do we need a new development process, and what's its benefits. We compare the traditional approach to the model-based approach with respect to time, cost, and efficiency. We look at the technologies used for model-based system approaches and evaluate them. Then we look at the model-based testing and tools used. And then we conclude the presentation. So in the past few decades, automotive embedded systems are transformed from an electrical and mechanical engineering discipline to a combination of software and electrical and mechanical engineering. This evaluation establishes software as a crucial technology. And the future, the cost of the car will be mostly software cost. Growth of embedded software has led to more complex systems with multiple electronic control units of different characteristics in today's vehicle. Today's vehicle has more than 80 microcontrollers, microprocessors. As a result, automotive industry focuses on a new trend, model-based development rather than traditional method where software is written in assembly code or C language. However, quality assurance is an important factor throughout the development process, and testing is a key element for quality assurance. This paper will discuss about the use of the model-based approach to accelerate the time and the use of the tools to provide support throughout the development process. In this research, the way we conducted the research, we searched several databases such as IEEE, Science Direct, etc. And we collected more than 3,500 papers. We rejected based on title, many of them we rejected based on the abstract of search, most of them, and then we rejected based on the general study of research, about 950. And then we had about 100 papers. We only selected 28 and we rejected 60 at the end. So there was a lot of reading, a lot of searching on the internet, and this is the process that we used. And we explained that also in the paper, so that can help a person who's trying to do research follow a methodology or a process in searching for resources. The model-based development approach process follows typically the V-model process. Development starts with requirement capturing, analysis, then functional model creation according to the clear, complete, and ambiguous requirement documents. At early stages, we are able to test the functional model using virtual prototyping. Once system and ECU's design is validated on virtual environment, then design have to move to implementation phase. To generate code which satisfies all the requirements, model have to be imposed with software design, implementation details, and constraints. Finally, integration of generated source code, I/O drivers, and operating system code is performed. The model-based techniques and technologies, there are many techniques and many technologies that do exist. So here we are showing in the first table the hierarchical model, graphical model, interactive model, integrative model, and correct by construction model. So the selection of the model technology depends on the type of system being modeled and the task for which model is being developed. So you can have continuous systems, you can have discrete systems. So that does affect the selection of the model technique that you use. And here we also, in the second table, we compare the hardware dependency for if we use MATLAB, Simulink, StateFlow, or we use LabVIEW. These are the most used tools for designing systems or simulating systems before the implementation. So we choose the ML,
move a bit
SL, SF technology.
We are supposed to be
as advanced.
Yeah.
Because of the benefits in cost,
yeah.
the benefits in time.
4 minutes.
So the cost is reduced by a factor of 2. The time is reduced by a factor of 2. The project development time is reduced by 2 to 4 factors. The time of the completion of the product with half of the staff able to finish twice as quick. So there is a lot of advantages in using the model-based approaches. The model-based test process, model-based testing also follows the typical V process, where development and testing activity starts more or less right after the project starts. So that's the type of the V model. So testing and verification and validation comes immediately at the start. commonly defined test methodologies at each phase of automotive software development process. Process are the MIL, SIL, and HIL. The requirement is test automation, reuse of test assets between integration levels, and also systematic test cases. Categories of model-based testing. You have a lot of categories. So you have classes like model, test generation, test execution, test evaluation, and within them they have categories, and within these categories we have options. So there is a lot of options that you can have. So this model-based testing taxonomy with classes, categories, as well as options. So it gives you a rich options, a rich selection. The evaluation of tools of selected approaches. We have done comparison between the selected tools that are available for designing model-based systems, from Naval to M-Test to React Tester, etc. We compare them with respect to the test generation, test execution, and test with respect to also test evaluation. So you can see the comparison and the evaluation based on this table. And also we had more comparison of the tools that were used with respect to test specification, test pattern support, and automation facilities are all included in the paper in details. The TPT, which is time partition tools, is a commercial tool for functional model-based testing of control systems. This supports main requirements of MBT, such as systematic and graphical modeling of test cases by using state machines with conditional branching. This tool is platform independent and can be easily transferred between integration levels. Similar test cases are removed, facilitates regression testing, and reactive testing is supported. TPT also supports frictional testing of MATLAB Simulink model as if tests are translated to bytecode. They can be executed on real-time hardware as well as virtual machines. In conclusion, this paper discussed about significant characteristics of automotive model-based development processes and the need for the testing in early stages. Also explained taxonomy of MPT, which also covers main aspects of MPT approach. This research is intended to help with understanding the characteristics, similarities, and differences of different approaches, and an approach tool is proposed. Further research would be extended to explore about the UML SIS MARTI language for modeling embedded systems and investigate more on tools for whole development process. I thank you for listening. And
okay, thank you for including this video recorded presentation. Unfortunately, we don't have any, it seems to me, from the audience that are part of the research paper to really ask them questions. Do you have any questions, the audience, so that I could really reflect on from what I've heard? Audience, do you have any questions? It's an interesting paper. The one who was actually was actually speaking, Professor Adnan Shaout. He's professor of computer science in Michigan Dearborn University in the US, and he's one of our close colleagues as well in the field. And it's an interesting, really, piece of work. But really, I wanted really to ask a question about really the new contributions that have been made, apart from really explaining and trying to provide maybe like a platform to for further researchers really to communicate that, because the V model and the testing cases as well and the application of them is standard. However, I wanted really to reflect on the automotive industry to have really further feedback on that. But since we don't have any to answer that, then we could really move ahead. But the interesting thing is about actually the research design that they have done, which I will be as well, hopefully when we have the time, we'll be able to reflect on further papers. Okay, so can we move please to the next paper? Is our session coordinator with us? I think Sousan, am I right? Are you Sousan?
No, I am Mohsen Saadi.
You are?
Mohsen Saadi.
Mohsen Saadi. أهلا وسهلا فيك موزة. شكرا. Okay, so we move into the next paper, which is paper 68.
68.
Yeah, if you have the video recorded session for it.
Yeah, I will.
My name is Muadi Madshadot. I study master degree in computer science at Argah University. My title, Internet of Things, Protection and Encryption. عبارة عن survey. راح يكون عندي الأوتلاين. بداية راح نتحدث عن الانترودكشن, security threat of the Internet of Things, IoT and blockchain encryption algorithms, improving the design of IoT algorithm, key expansion process, evaluation and result, methodology, dataset, result, ونهاية في conclusion.
Okay, can you stop at this moment?
بداية الانترودكشن. عصرنا اليومي هو العصر.
Go back to, because the presenter is not there. Can you go back to the first slide, please?
Okay.
Okay. I will just take the opportunity here to comment on this one. As you can see in the outline, there is a really there is a flaw there. There's something to do. There is a major issue. The methodology is coming really at actually just before going into the data sets. The research methodology should be really captured ahead, much ahead. So this is one key note to observe, really. Thank you. If you could move.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of IoT algorithm, result, ونهاية. عصرنا اليومي هو العصر الرقمي وبيتوسع استخدام الإنترنت الأشياء IoT بحياتنا بشكل سريع. من الأمثلة عليها التطبيقات العملية والصناعية والعديد من الأشخاص بيستخدموا إنترنت الأشياء في مجالات البحث.
Can you raise the audio level, sound level?
I think it is with the recording problem. It is fully with me, the voice.
متصل بالإنترنت ويمكن ربطها مباشرة بالعديد من الأجهزة عبر الإنترنت. وبتعتمد هذه الأجهزة بشكل أساسي على تكلفتها المنخفضة.
Yeah, can you move?
لذلك نستنتج إنه عامل النمو الثاني للإنترنت الأشياء هو انخفاض الدقة. وراح نتحدث عن the Internet of Things. عشان ندمج القطاعات الصناعية والمجتمعية بشكل كامل.
I think the recording is not good.
لابد من
Sometimes it is a normal voice, sometimes it is not here.
Yeah, and it's a copy and paste from the paper, so it's
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, I had looked at the paper. Yes, okay, yeah. I had read.
راح تكون AAS 3-way preset والشارك والسفير. الفيستل اركيتكتشر راح يكون في عندي ال DAS, بلوفيش والSF والكاميليا والLWV. راح نتحدث الآن improving the design of IoT algorithm. بيتميز استخدام الفيستل سايفر عبر شبكة بطريقة AES.
مش سامعين الصوت مش واضح.
نعم.
أيوة مش واضح. في سلايدات واضح.
No, can you move please just to the conclusion.
Okay.
زي الراديو القديم.
كل مفتاح بناخذ 16 بت. اسكي 1 اخذ 16، اسكي 2 اخذ 16، اسكي 3 اخذ 16، اسكي 4 اخذ 16 بت. بندخلهم بعد هيك الاربع اسكي بندخلهم على السي دي فانكشن. السي دي فانكشن بده يدخل الاسكي 1 يعمل لها ماتريكس عباره راح تكون عن 4 ب4، والاسكي 2 عباره عن ماتريكس نفس الشيء، و3 و4 راح تكون عباره عن كل وحده 4 ب4 ماتريكس. راح يعطيني كل ماتريكس من هاي الماتريكس SKM1. راح نخلص احنا SK1، خلصنا SK1 SKA1، راح ندخل ال SKM1 وال SKM2 وال SKM2 3 و4. راح يعطيني عندي اوتبوت اللي هو LT.
اوكي.
هاي الرموز.
No voice.
Okay, can you move to the conclusion? Yeah.
This is the conclusion. I think the sound.
Yeah. Can you stop at the really the sound running or the audio running? Okay, just if you leave the last, just only the last slide there, if you can. I just want to comment on the paper, because if there are no ones from the authorship team, then I would like to comment on the paper, and if also the audience, if they have any as well comments.
اخت موزة مش شايفين احنا السلايد، اذا ممكن تحطيها.
اوكي لحظة الحين.
The last one, yes, the conclusion.
So, bro, you want the conclusion, okay?
Yes, the conclusion.
This one.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Who would like to comment on the paper, on the presentation itself, please? Maybe we take this opportunity to really exchange maybe knowledge between us. Anybody wants to comment on the paper, on the presentation, on the paper as well? All right. If nobody, I will really comment. If hopefully I can do something that could be of benefit. Okay. First of all, I had really a look at the paper, and there isn't really a research really design. There isn't research methodology for the work conducted, and the title sends really a different message from what the paper is about. And there are really areas amalgamated into the paper, but it is not. It's supposed to be really a review. A review is different from a survey. Okay. In addition, there isn't really a methodological approach to conduct the review itself, and it has also review of particular really algorithms, but there isn't really a strict order of applying a research method in terms of really like systematic literature review or systematic mapping. This was not applied. And I can see that actually that conclusions cannot be really taken straightforward, really. So I will be putting comments as well about the paper presentation and in the formal process. Anybody who wants to comment on this one, please?
So should I stop sharing?
Yes, please. If no one, then we move to the next paper, please. So we move into paper 66, please, which is Internet of Robotic Things, Internet of Robotic Things, current technologies and applications. And also, is this also video recorded? Or is it a recorded session? Moza?
Yes, it is recorded session, and I think with the same author. The same author is also, but I don't know if he is the presenter or not. We will check now.
Okay.
مرحبا، أنا الطالبة إسراء المطارنة، طالب في جامعة الزرقاء الأهلية، بدرس ماجستير علم حاسوب. عملت هاي الورقة بعنوان الإنترنت أوف روبوتيك ثينجز Current Technology and Application تحت إشراف الدكتور غسان سمارة. هذا البحث هو عبارة عن سيرفي للتقنيات والتطبيقات الخاصة في الإنترنت أوف روبوتيك ثينجز. تم فيه دراسة أكثر من 40 بحث. الإنترنت أوف روبوتيك ثينجز هو عبارة عن مجال بحث جديد بيربط بين ال IoT والروبوتيك environment. حتى نستفيد من الثورة الحاصلة في مجال ال IoT واستخدمها في تطبيقات الروبوتك أيضا. تم التركيز في هاي البيبر على التقنيات المستخدمة في ال IoT والاركيتكتشر الخاصة في ال IoT وأهم المشاكل اللي بتواجه ال IoT والحلول المقترحة لها، بالإضافة إلى الأمثلة على تطبيقات ال IoT. ال IoT الهدف الأساسي منه ربط الأشياء من خلال الكلاود وتبادل المعلومات فيما بينها. نتيجة توسع مجال ال IoT أصبح هناك استخدامات عديدة له في المجالات مثل الروبوتكس والهيلث كير والسبيس وأيضا مجالات أخرى متعددة. هذا أدى إلى ظهور مفهوم جديد هو مفهوم الإنترنت أوف Things، إضافة إلى ظهور أيضا مفهوم اللي هو الإندستري 4 الثورة الصناعية الرابعة، واللي من خلاله استطعنا الوصول إلى مفهوم الإنترنت أوف روبوتيك ثينجز IoT. الهدف كان من هاي الورقة البيبر أولاً وصف الأركيتكتشر الخاصة في ال IoT، ثانياً المشاكل والتطبيقات الخاصة في ال IoT، وأخيراً اقتراح حلول لهاي المشاكل. ال IoT طورت لتستفيد من القدرات الخاصة في الروبوتكس وربطها مع الإمكانيات والمزايا الخاصة في ال IoT، مثل الكنترول بستخدمه في الماشين ليرنينج والاي اي تكنولوجي، والكمبيوتيشن بستخدم في الكلاود، والكوميونيكيشن بستخدم الانترنت وتطبيقات الاتصال الأخرى. الاركيتكتشر الخاصة بالاي او ار تي تتكون من 3 لاير.
ممكن بالله لو سمحتي
اللاير الأولى اللي هي الفيزيكال بيكون فيها السنسور
بعد اذنك ممكن بس
والاكتوار
تفضلي الله يخليك.
والروبوتك.
اوكي دكتور.
شكرا.
اللاير الثانية واللي بتواجه الاي او ار تي أهم، وفي أيضا مشكلة تأخير استجابة الروبوت، وهي من أهم المشاكل اللي بتواجه الروبوتك، اللي هي إنه بتتأخر في استجابته وأخيراً عدم استقرار الشبك. الحلول المقترحة لهاي المشاكل هو إن مشاكل ال IoT اللي هي مشكلة الداتا بروسيس، عمل لاير جديد مثل الفوج أو الإدج كومبيوتينج لتسهيل التواصل بين الروبوتك عليها من أجل عمل الكمبيوتيشن الأساسية من خلالها. المشكلة الثانية اللي بتواجه ال IoT هي السكيورتي. لما بيكون عندي ربط من خلال الإنترنت بين الروبوتك مع بعضها البعض أو مع الكلاود، ممكن الأوثنتيكيشن. الحلول TLS النيومرس ميجر مثال عليها مثل الداتا فريجمنتس والاكسترا انالايز اوثنتيكيشن. ومن التطبيقات على استخدامات ال IoT مثل disaster response والagriculture accuracy.
Can you move please? يعني
This is the last. I think this is the last. No
okay.
conclusion.
Yes. There isn't anything really new in this paper, and
part of literature review maybe. No,
even not methodological even. Okay.
No, it is literature review maybe something
maybe
like this.
A class presentation. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, are there any comments, please? Okay, can we move please to the next paper?
Okay, the next paper, it is
105, blockchain-based model.
Yeah, we don't have the recordings, and I think Dr. Abdul is not available either in the attendees or in the panelists.
So this will
I can't say.
This will be discarded.
Yes, this will be, yeah.
Okay.
We move to Zina Humadi.
Yes, a website application for IoT devices management.
Zina was joining us, but I can't see her now in the session. Maybe she will join us later on.
Okay.
Can we move to another one?
Yeah. This is sure she is not there. Yeah. You are checking there on the.
Yeah. But she entered the session twice, and she get out. I don't know. Maybe she has.
We have to make it really very clear that if no video recording is provided, and also if the presenter is not there, then to present, then the paper itself will be discarded from the indexing.
This paper is the recording is available, but I don't know, Yani, if you prefer me to show it or wait for Zina to join us, maybe at the.
Okay, let's move then, and then we wait. Then we can put the recording towards the end because we still have about 1 hour left for the.
Yes.
Okay, paper 141, please.
Aida, we have Aida.
Cybersecurity awareness and its impact on protecting children in cyberspace. Aida, can you introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you, Aida.
Yes. Aida?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for joining me here today. It's a great honor to be with you. For those who don't know me, my name is Aida Shabibi. I am a PhD student in Sultan Qaboos University College of Art and Social Science and IT department. The topic of my presentation
Where
is
Aida, where? Sorry, where? I didn't hear that well. You
I
are
am PhD student in Sultan Qaboos University College of Art and Social Science.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The topic of my presentation is cybersecurity awareness and its impact on protecting children in cyberspace. It is a literature review. The presentation is divided into 5 parts. First, I will start with the introduction. Next, I will highlight the objective. Then I will list research question. After that, I will explain research finding in detail. Finally, I will conclude my presentation. Internet users have been increasing globally since the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. A widespread interconnected digital technology in the online world created a virtual world similar to the real world named cyberspace. In the cyberspace, there are cybercrime carried out using a computer or an electronic devices through the internet. It is necessary to meet the safety demand in the cyberspace through the cybersecurity, which can be defined as the application of technology, process, and control to protect system, network, programs, and devices from cyber attack. Even though by applying cybersecurity, the user fell into the trap of cybercrime due to the insufficient cybersecurity awareness, which is the combination of knowing and doing something to protect your data and yourself from cyber attack. According to the recent research by Kaspersky, 73% of internet users are children, and 44 of them aged between 8 to 16 years are always online with a preference of entertainment and social media apps. Moreover, 40% of children reveal sensitive information, including their home addresses, and 37% of children experience online dangers, including bullying and financial threat and inappropriate contact. Therefore, this paper aims to study cybersecurity awareness and its impact on protecting children in cyberspace through the following objectives. Critically review the existing literature and present the main findings by critical theme and extract the practical effect of this result to educate children about cybersecurity. Accordingly, the following are the questions that are going to drive the research. First, what is essential insight does the existing literature provide on the role of awareness influencing children's behavior in the cyberspace? Second, What are the practical implications of those ideas on children's safety in cyberspace and reducing the influence, the effects of cyber attacks? The research has ended up with 5 main findings. First, the significance of cybersecurity awareness in reducing the impact of cyber attacks. Internet users are growing beyond the expectation globally, providing an attractive and accessible platform for the hacker. According to the literature, the leading cause of cyber attacks is the lack of cybersecurity awareness among the user. Therefore, it is necessary to
Sorry, Aida, can I ask you a question, please? Sorry, it's unusual to interrupt, but you moved really from the research objectives and questions to the findings, but you did not really talk about the research design, the methodology.
Actually, it is a literature review, systematic literature review.
But can you talk about the systematic literature review? What did you do?
I search about different databases from the and I from published articles, and I took around 172 paper. The total of them. Then the only of them which is really related to my paper was 52 paper. So I compare with them about the finding. Then I listed in my papers.
Yeah, but this is not exactly actually systematic really approach or system. So you appear to be not using systematic mapping. Okay, I would say that you'd really best to present this is to really talk about the research design. Why? Because we need to look at the rigor of the research methods that you are using in order that we can really accept your findings or not.
Okay.
Okay. So I would say that it would be really much better really presented and maybe researched is to really present the research design, which includes here that you are applying the systematic literature review or systematic mapping. There is a difference between the two approaches, by the way. And you need to identify the keywords. You need to link those, why you want for these repositories of the research bodies. Also, you need to look into the research questions and also show us how you really sort of arrived at the answer of each one of the research questions. And then from there, you can really sort of comment on the findings, because there is a big gap between the findings and the research really questions. So I really strongly advise that you review that. Okay, please.
Thanks for your value noted, but actually I include it in my paper, but since it is just a presentation, so I just thought I have to talk briefly within the time, with the limit time.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
But it's good. It's good to have, because yeah. Okay. Okay.
Can you go?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes, you would like to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Second finding is about the types of crimes and malware. Cybercrime is one of the most prevalent crime today, and criminals are increasingly targeting the individual as they are the weakest link in every system. Moreover, a new form of cybercrime have appeared, keeping in mind that cyber criminal can reach children faster and easier through the social sites. The third finding in this research is about the social and behavioral impact of cybercrime on children. Cyber criminals have adverse physical, emotional, social aspect, and psychological effect on children, such as depression and anxiety, aggression, stress, and intervention personality. These effects can last for several years, usually without the victim awareness. In addition, the child can become addicted to drugs or alcohol and often develop a suicidal thoughts. This brings me to the fourth finding, which is the role of stakeholder experts in spreading cybersecurity awareness. Large volume of published study agreed that there is an urgent need for national cybersecurity awareness strategy to enhance security awareness among individuals, especially the children. The awareness strategy should include the multiple invention of a stakeholder working together effectively to meet the education and awareness need. The last finding of this presentation is about the responsibility of parents and school environment. Parents feel that they are new in cyberspace, and they also feel challenged managing family security in the digital and physical world. Fortunately, many solutions are available to help parents to protect children online, such as Family Link and Safe Kids. On the other hand, the education sector become the main target of cyber criminals, and there is a global movement to include cybersecurity in education curriculum to equip the children with the benefit of cybersecurity and stay safe effectively. In the conclusion, the literature has relieved significant increase in internet user worldwide, and most of them are young people. During the global digital transformation of education in 2020, the education sector has become the main target of cyber criminals. Children cannot raise their own cybersecurity alone. Therefore, there is an urgent need to include the basic of cybersecurity awareness in education curriculum to build student capability and give most internet benefit. Thanks for your attention. I'll be glad to answer any question you may ask.
Yes, thank you, Aida. Any questions from the audience, please, before I put my questions as well and comments?
Yes, please, Prof. Mohammed.
Yes,
I just would like to ask you regarding the methodology you mean for the literature review. For the systematic review, you mean like the Prisma, for example, the diagram that we sometimes use?
Not only the diagram. Actually, first of all, research methodology implies actually method of methods. Okay.
Yes.
You have a number of methods that you really embody inside the research methodology, which constitutes the research design for your work. And I had actually a look at the paper as well itself, and it's in my view that you need to develop the research methodology section, which is actually you're saying actually that it's actually from you just consulted the literature from 2019 to 2021, which is really very short space. In addition, you did not actually link up the research questions to the systematic literature review. And I advise you to use systematic mapping, okay, rather than just only to say that you're using systematic literature review. So I advise you to use systematic mapping, which is a very good, really, approach that has been really populating into the field of software engineering for some time. So I strongly advise you to review that. And also to link up the research questions, because the findings that you have here, you did not link them to the research questions, which is a major really bit here, okay? Because you cannot say these are my findings in relation to what? To the research questions. And at the same time, the first research question that you put is generic. You talk about insights. I think it needs to be really rephrased to be more focused to do with the research itself. Okay, because here you are trying to say maybe, okay, what are really the current issues that are related to cybersecurity, to raise cybersecurity awareness and its impact on protecting children in cyberspace. So if you want to identify those really issues that have been occurring in since the last decade, okay, and in which as well. Maybe you find it as well culturally making difference. It could be something that is really in the Arab world, or maybe it's in the some other Asian or maybe European or Western world. They could be different. Okay, and the things that you put as well towards the end is about the family and the work of the different stakeholders. This is generalized, but what actually makes you say that this is an area that you need to improve on if actually these are not supported by the findings? So I would say that it would be good really to review the research design, redevelop the systematic mapping approach, and I'm more than happy really to communicate to you at a later stage even an example of a paper that you can really see as well, and use for that purpose if you want to. You can see my email address somewhere. I don't know, maybe you can pick it up. It's Mohammed Audi, mohammed.audi@sky.com. You can send me an email. That's my email. You can email me, and I'm happy to send you an email of that as well, of the paper itself that I'm suggesting.
Send me the email again, Prof.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Aida, for the for really coming to do the presentation, and also to be extremely very open to really receive the feedback and comments, and for this interesting as well work that you have been really doing. And I, because you are a PhD student, and we feel that it's our duty to really suggest things that hopefully, inshallah, will make it a very rewardable journey, Aida, inshallah.
I'll be glad for that.
All the best to you. All the best. Okay. Our session coordinator, Moza, if you would like to,
Yes.
We move to the next paper, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Mohammed, for offering your help for PhD students. And I am a PhD student also, and I may contact you one day.
Please, yeah, I'm more than happy to help. More than happy to help, yeah.
Thank you. And now we have Dr. Abdul Mohsen Al-Bashir. I think he's ready. He's with us.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Dr. Al-Bashir, can you please introduce yourself? Shukran.
Inshallah. Is the screen clear?
Yes, seems so, yes. Can you put it in presentation mode? Yeah, thank you.
Inshallah. Okay, my name is Abdul Mohsen Al-Bashir, assistant professor at King Faisal University. This paper was done by a student, a master student in our program, Information Systems program. So it was about evaluating the usability of mobile applications in the case of COVID-19 application in Saudi Arabia. As you know, countries have used mobile application creatively during the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, United Arab Emirates, they have an application called Al-Husn, which shows users the results of their COVID-19 test. Canadian federal government, they have something called COVID Alert, which provides COVID-19 exposure notification to both iOS and Android users. The Chinese government deployed an app which has 3 colors, green, yellow, red, to show the status of the person. In Qatar, they have the application Ihtiraz, which is which uses Bluetooth to help Qatari authority to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Saudi government, they have some specific application for COVID-19. They designed 2 actually applications beside the Ministry of Health applications. So these are Tawakkalna and Taba'ud. Tawakkalna shows the health status of its user through colored codes and allow user to report infected cases or gathering that violate the government pandemic rules. Taba'ud tracks the spread of COVID-19, and this idea is repeated in many countries. They have the same idea, which uses Bluetooth to keep you away from the infected person. So the research contribution is about testing. So we know these apps, that they are available, but we don't know if they are usable in terms of the usability guidelines and usability principles. So this research aims to help the designer to make improvement of these applications and allow government to make better use of them when they need to communicate with their citizen in times of crisis. So these are the tested apps: Sahha, Sahhati, Maw'id, Tawakkalna, and Taba'ud. The methodology was about we used heuristic evaluation, and heuristics evaluation is known, first introduced by Nelson, and it was used a lot in different research papers. They are very useful when you are testing applications. They are just new or under improvement. So we selected actually smart heuristics. Smart heuristics were developed specifically for mobile devices because some heuristics that may apply to a website and using the desktop may not be appropriate for mobile devices and using the mobile application. 5 evaluators examined the apps. Nelson recommended 3 to 5, and he claims that the evaluators in this case can find 80% of the usability problems. I'll try to be quick. And as you know, this some of you know about the heuristics. It uses severity rating 0 to 4, not a usability problem to a usability disaster. So this, help the severity rating can help making decision about the optimal allocation of resources of the serious problems that the app had. The severity rating can help prioritize the recommended fixes of the usability defects. These are the heuristics, the smart heuristics we use. We did just minor changes to make it appropriate for mobile applications. So these are the heuristics, and the result showed that no major usability problems if we compare it to other studies, but there are some finding we need to talk about. صحتي was the one that had the highest rate of usability problems compared to تباعد, but تباعد is less used than صحتي, and it's very simple. It's just one, does just one task if you compare it to صحتي, which does more than one task. When we did the data analysis, we used Microsoft Excel. We calculated the severity rating. So how did we get this? The 6 here in number 12 in صحتي, for example, we took the responses, we merged in the number of evaluators in each severity rating, then counted the number, multiplied the severity rating, whether it's 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, then we get the 6 here. For the discussion, the 5 application, as I said, didn't have major issues or big flaws, but since the evaluators were satisfied in general with the usability of these apps, we think the primary reason might be the simplicity of the app. Each app was focusing on providing only 1 or 2 major services rather than something for more comprehensive. In fact, Coy and Lee believe that simplicity is an important aspect that contributed positively to increasing usability and user satisfaction for mobile apps. Regarding smart number 5, first-time user get up and running quickly, each app is providing its main feature on the home screen, which can facilitate first-time use and make the app easy to learn and negative. Only we noticed that تباعد had a pop-up message which tell you the idea of the app, how to use it when it's when the user use it for the first time, and we believe that was very useful. As indicated by the evaluators. When it comes to smart number of 11, facilitate user input, most of the apps give user the opportunity to make selection rather than entering data. And that was important because giving them a chance to enter data will open the chance for making some errors. Having selection, it's better in terms of usability. So that was useful, except for صحة application, which usually needs data entry due to the nature of the app and the fact it offers consultation with physician or conducts smart consultation based on entered text. So there is no specific data to be entered here. Regarding to Smart 12, and that's the beauty of smart heuristics. It's designed for mobile devices. Mobile devices, they have camera, microphone, sensor. Review 2016, a review on Google Play and Apple App Stores found that the mobile phone camera is the most frequently used technology in health apps. And it's employed in a wide range of health conditions compared to other technologies. Camera images can be used by apps for dermatological and اللي هي الجلدية والعيون. نعم, when needed. In صحة, the camera is used to help physician diagnose the user health problems by capturing the problems either by photo or video. The evaluator indicated using the camera for photo and video was excellent and that their experience was great. So there was no issue in this heuristic. Camera technology can be used for different ways. We have seen that as a barcode. Some research implemented this feature in their app, which is about counting the attendees' numbers in different locations by QR codes. They found the main advantage of this system to record and monitor attendance more accurately and quickly. This was found in Tawakkalna, and it was used accurately, so there was no issue with capturing code. For the GPS, Tawakkalna was okay detecting the location, but for Maw'id and Sahhati, the evaluator noticed that the app didn't provide any direction or instruction about the selected health center. In other words, they don't provide a way to connect it to the Google Map or Apple Map to provide the location and direction to the user for that center, health center. For the Bluetooth technology, Tabaad, we know it's used for COVID-19 as other countries use a similar application. The problem with this app, it asks for a permission to access Bluetooth technology, and all people must use it to be successful. So if you don't use it and you are affected, it's not going to be useful. And it has other major of privacy issues, which is not related to the study. But again, in order to have it effective, it needs to have the Bluetooth on. So we find, we have a recommendation that interfaces should be equipped with adaptive features such as screen rotation and voice commands to increase their usability. So it was just a case in some of the details of the finding. App designer should avoid offering duplicate surfaces and offer simple, distinct surfaces, because we noticed that one surface was provided in two different apps. For the first time user, pop-up message is very useful to describe the app and how they can use it when they use the app for the first time. For future work, we feel that heuristic evaluation, expert evaluation is not enough. We need to know the perceptions of the users, how they found these apps, what are the usability problems they found. Because of the COVID-19 problems we are still having now, it's hard to conduct maybe a survey, conduct a survey for people who has used all the 5 applications. It's hard to find them, it's hard to make the survey. If you want to make interviews, it's going to be harder. So the best method, we believe, it can be through the reviews analysis. So you can look at the reviews, the app reviews, and from the app reviews you can tell these problems. You can do content analysis, sentiment analysis, and other methods. As a conclusion, mobile application can play an essential role in enhancing government services and improving the way government interact with their citizens, especially in emergency cases such as COVID-19 pandemic. This paper evaluated صحة موعد تباعد توكلنا using heuristic evaluation to find the usability problem. One main issue is the trade-off between designing several different having one app that has many surfaces against having different apps for each surface. Now, the first one, if you have just one app for all surfaces, it might face technical problems, and we believe maybe this is the reason why they divided the surfaces into different apps. But the problems with defining the surfaces in different apps, it's hard to remember which surface in what app. So this needs more investigation. And do they do it for technical purposes? What could be the solution for this? Because having many apps is very confusing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Al-Bashir. Thank you.
And these are the conclusion and the references. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Are there any questions by the colleagues in the audience? Any questions, please? No? Okay. I will, inshallah, then maybe ask questions and comment. Thank you, Dr. Al-Bashir. I think because we have some time, we have just only one paper left. Mohsen, am I right? That needs video recorded.
Yes, only. Yeah,
okay.
just
So
we
maybe,
have the recordings.
Yeah, maybe we can have a few minutes because we have about half an hour left for the session, so we can make some comments here as well. Okay. Dr. Al-Bashir, thank you for the presentation. I've got some questions, and also within these questions, I would say that there are really observations, if I may really embed as well. One of those questions I have is about the term usability that you have really not defined to start with here in the presentation, because this is really not an easy term to define real usability, and there are attributes for usability like learnability, recoverability, adaptability, etc. So those key attributes there, and the link between these attributes and the heuristics that you have identified, Nelson's heuristics et al., is not clear to me as well in the paper. So this is my first real question. If you'd like really to comment on it, please.
Yes, for the usability, I'm sorry, I thought it's a concept.
It's very difficult to Bashir. Yeah, it's very difficult to define usability. It is very subjective. What is usable to you may not be usable to me, and vice versa, and it's subjective as well. This is why, as you mentioned, the heuristics approach is one of those approaches that could be used to evaluate, really, especially for mobile apps. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why we use the heuristics. Heuristics will make it easy why what we are testing, what usability metrics we are testing, what exactly we are testing. So these are the heuristics, the metrics we are testing to decide whether it was usable or not, to find the usability problem. So usability, as you mentioned, is a broad meaning. It could it has many different metrics: learnability, efficiency, effectiveness, ease of use, satisfaction, and many other metrics. So heuristics is one way to make them specifics. So we made that specific by deciding that we are going to use smart heuristics, which are designed specifically for mobile devices. So these are the exactly or specifically the things or the heuristics or the metrics we tested or we evaluated when the evaluators evaluated the applications.
Yeah, but Dr. Al-Bashir, if you want to, sorry, I didn't pick it up.
Al-Bashir.
Al-Bashir, Asif, shukran, Allah barak fik, for the correction.
No.
My point about actually these are heuristics which are used to sort of guide assessing usability, but maybe to write them in a form of really like providing a check that this has been actually satisfied or not. For example, if I take an example like allow configuration options and shortcuts, the application allows configuration options and shortcuts. So I'm just, my point is about actually writing these heuristics in a form that is really for assessment. Would be really maybe easier to put it for the for evaluation at the end to say that these have been satisfied or not. I do totally understand, and I appreciate actually the way that they have been really sort of related to the literature. But in terms of rewriting in them in a way that they will be more specific to be answerable. Okay, for example, if I just take even another example, number one, provide immediate notification of apps status, provides immediate. So you are saying here that there's something that needs to be answerable by the evaluators to say whether this application provides immediate notification of apps status is one of the key, I would like to call it really here, sub-matrix to evaluate the overall really usability of the mobile app. So yeah, okay. But you are you really with the idea of linking these to the usability attributes, the key attributes in the literature about the usability? So you link these heuristics to the usability attributes.
I don't see. The other studies, they use the same things. They have heuristics and they tested the heuristics,
yes,
and they have their findings. The description of each heuristic is written in the source of the authors that we brought the smart heuristic from. Yeah. Smart heuristics were brought from one specific research. Yeah. If you go to that research, you will have the full description, which is a paragraph for each heuristic.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I wanted to refer is that about customization of these heuristics to the research in context. These are generalized, which are actually from the literature, which is fine, but just customization. This is just a suggestion in terms of really the linking them.
The source they have the heuristic and the description, the heuristic and the description.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Muhammad, I have a question.
Yes, please.
This is Muhammad Al-Ammari. I have a question. You mentioned that Nelson has 5 components related to usabilities. Did you tie the 12 heuristics that you mentioned to which component they belong to? Do we know that this is actually related to efficiency? This is related to satisfaction? Like I see 12, but I don't know if these 12 cover a lot, or maybe they cover one aspect of usability. The literature, as you said, there is not much in this area, but there are. Like you mentioned Nelson, for example, and Nelson actually he did classify usability. So I'm wondering where these 12 that we see on the screen, they belong to which component of known usability in the literature.
Yeah, attributes.
I didn't mention, Nelson said 3 to 5 evaluators.
No,
Nelson
in your paper, Dr. Abdul-Bashir, is actually, you mentioned that there are 3 to 5 evaluators, but this was my other question as well I wanted to ask about as well. Yeah. But I think Professor Ammari was referring to the issue of the attributes, the usability attributes, not actually the evaluators.
Yeah, actually, yeah, this is what I meant exactly. Nelson did define 5, exactly 5.
Yeah, well, I think the answer is I will go to the source of the smart heuristics, and I will see if they mention specific metrics like effectiveness, efficiency, satisfaction. These are the metrics, usability metrics we used for the 12 or that represent the 12 heuristics. If they say that, I will add that to the paper if you allow me.
Sure, but Dr.
Right.
Abdul Mohsen, sorry, Dr. Ammar, if you allow me, is
Sure. Go ahead.
thank you, Barakallah Fik. The non-functional requirements that you mentioned, like effectiveness, efficiency, maybe even it could affect reliability. It could affect as well security sometimes as well. So these are other quality requirements or other non-functional requirements. So it draws interrelationships between quality requirements, like usability relationship with availability, relationship with efficiency, usability with as well with security, usability with safety as well. So these actually interrelationships, which I think this research was not about studying the impact of usability on other quality requirements. I don't think this research was about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Ammar, you wanted to say something, Akhi?
Yes, Doctor, thank you. Just wanted to say, like, I'm not sure if my question was clear. Like, Doctor, the presenter keeps saying there are attributes that they had looked at, which is like he mentioned you mentioned efficiency, you mentioned satisfaction. And there are errors, of course, like there are learnability. That's another thing we can look at. And like these 12, that the one we see right now, we don't know really if they cover, for example, errors, which one they cover the error attribute, which ones they cover the efficiency, which one they cover the satisfaction. Like, did we miss anything? Like, this is my what I wanted to know.
Yeah, I think
we cover everything.
Yeah, your question will be very valid if I made these heuristics, but I didn't make it. They are already designed by other researchers. So I'm not claiming I am providing these heuristics to test A and B and C. I'm not designing a new heuristics. They are already there. People who read about the research, they can go to the source and find what exactly these heuristics measured. So I'm not proposing any new heuristics.
No, we're not saying that here, Akhi, Dr. Abdul Mohsen. We're not saying, if I understand the observation as well of Professor Ammari, we're not really here looking into really these heuristics in terms of what they mean, and we need to go back to the literature and say that you are using them as they are. But what we are saying is that how do you link these heuristics to the usability attributes, like, for example, learnability, speed of operation, robustness, recoverability, adaptability, so that we will be able to say, well, these heuristics 1 and 2, 3, they link, for example, to maybe learnability and robustness, okay, and others at same. So we are trying to suggest actually an improvement, hopefully,
Sure, yeah, and I answered this. I said I will look at the source of the research, these heuristics, and I'll find if they indicated specific metrics, I will mention that.
Yeah, thank you. And even I would say that even if they don't mention, I would say that it would be good to really link those heuristics to these usability attributes, which are really available in the literature, the very well-known sources. Ian Somerville, actually, he talked about them really well in his book and his publications as well. There is actually the table, Dr. Abdul Mohsen. If we can go to the table that you have the feedback from the heuristics is actually the data table. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, the data table here, I've got actually, first of all, how many participants have you used in the evaluation? Is it three to five, as actually indicated in the paper?
Yeah, 5.
Do you think that's really a good number to use?
This is Nelson said that. Nelson said if you add
But not
more.
Nelson, but what do you think yourself? What do you think rather than Nelson?
I will agree since I accept his what he mentioned, that you will see repetitive problems. So you will not see new usability problems. And this is not a claim. This is a research done, experimental research.
Yeah, yes, that's right. It's experimental research, but there will be classes of those actual evaluators that you can look at in terms of their role and their use of the application. Some of them, they will be taking certain roles depending on the app itself. So, and also that you've got as well those values that you assign. I think it's 0 to 5, if I'm right. Am I right?
0 to 4, yeah.
0 to 4, yeah, 0 to 4. So at least we need to have, I would say, really I will also question really Nelson's approach in terms of really just saying that 3 to 5. I know that you mentioned this in the paper, but it may not really be very informative really to conclude. And also, you just put the average without having standard deviation there. So we don't know really how much deviation is really from the average.
Deviation?
Yeah, standard deviation. So there is average there at the end. You've got the average, but there isn't standard deviation there.
But people use the heuristic. They don't put standard deviation. They put the total and the average. I use what is commonly used in heuristics evaluation research papers.
But if I look at the if I look at the Sahha, for example, app or Sahhati, or I can see really that having an average of 5.2 is not informative to me.
Okay.
So you are saying that on average for these heuristics, it was 5.2. What does it mean to me? There is really very clear there is deviation. I can see in the data.
But if you look at the total, 26, 39, it gives you, and 32, 23, 20, it gives you the answer that they have similar usability problems. Then the most important than the numbers are discussing the issues.
Yes, I will come back.
Because
the
developers will not, we are not comparing them to say, okay, Maw'id is better than Tawakkalna. We are comparing just to give a number in terms of usability, just the general numbers. What is important is showing the usability problems, and this is the aim of the research paper.
Okay.
So I don't think numbers will add meaning to the research paper. Just to give you a feeling how was the usability study, and these are the findings in terms of general numbers. Details are the more important, like heuristic 1, what was how many usability problem comparing Sahha to Sahhati. The details are more important than the just summarizing, total and average and compare the average. It's more important to look at the detail. Smart 1, why Sahha has 0 comparing to Sahhati has 5? Why Sahhati was the highest in terms of Smart 1? That's the important.
Well,
looking at the details.
Sure. Well, I will read them really differently. I mean, if methodologically that you think that this is not actually good enough to use, then there's no need to use them. But I look at them different way. I look at them actually, there is triangulation between quantitative and qualitative research here. So you have got quantitative here.
Yes, but the details, Smart 1, Smart 2, compare Sahha to Sahhati. The total, the average, does not really that impact.
Yeah, but because you are doing the comparison just vertically, but if you compare heuristic 1 across the 5 MOB apps, you can see actually variation. You can see for heuristic 1, it gets actually 5, for موعد is 0, for صحة is 0, and for what is that? The last one, tabud, is 2. Okay.
تباعد,
Yeah, تباعد. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't actually see it quickly.
no problem.
Okay, thank you. So you can see actually just horizontally, there, I would say there is some analysis that is needed, and as well vertically. And then we go into the implications of these. So I would suggest actually developing a triangulation between the quantitative analysis and the qualitative analysis that you have done, which is really nice. The qualitative one that you did by studying each heuristic and as well. But this is something that you did on your own, not actually from the user's feedback. This is the problem I see with this part, because it is subjective, is because you are the one who did the evaluation, you are the one who did actually these comments, but you did not actually get qualitative feedback from the evaluators themselves.
No. These are feedback from the evaluators.
The discussion that you have put, the discussion that you, I don't
The
mean
findings.
the findings.
Findings are evaluators' comments beside what we believe to add from the literature review.
Okay, so what is these? What are really those ones that are from the evaluators alone, and what are the ones that you provided in addition? So I was interested to see really the more specifically what the evaluators said, and link them up with the quantitative analysis that you have done in the table.
Link them in what? In terms of what?
In terms of linking the quantitative aspects. For example, if we say
we added our we added our thoughts in the recommendation, not in the findings.
Okay, so the findings are absolutely, they are the evaluators or the evaluators and yours?
The findings what?
The findings in the paper.
Uh-huh.
In the paper, I can't really tell whether these findings are actually purely stated by the evaluators or by you.
The findings, we just had the numbers, as you see in the paper.
Yeah.
Then we mentioned the information and the discussion.
Yeah, okay, so these findings in the discussion, these are yours as researchers, they are not the evaluators.
Evaluators mention
only numbers.
The case, let me please explain. They explain why this number, explain, sorry, the issues. We took what they explain, link it to the literature. So our job is linking the comment they had, the number they evaluated, to the literature review.
But they should be linked to what they, to explain the numbers behind them.
To explain the numbers, yes, why Sahati has more than the others. So they had one thing, they explained that Sahati more surfaces, but from the literature review, we added simplicity, as Koi and the other researcher mentioned. Simplicity is a big effect in usability. So we linked that to the literature review.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Muhammad, a very quick comment, please.
Sure.
Because I am the last one, you put a lot of comments on my side.
Yes.
Nasibak.
As he said, we have enough time to ask so many questions.
Only a few minutes were left because we have a recorded session.
Nice discussion.
All right. The last thing I want to say, did Nelson actually say 5 in general, or he said
3 to 5,
5 per group? That means is actually we have to take care of, like if we have children, we choose 5 from children. If we have adults, we have different level of educations. I think the assumption is not 5 from the general public, is that you categorize your users, and then from each group, you only need to choose 5. Is my assumption right?
Yeah. He told that 3 to 5 evaluators is enough to find usability problems. If you do more, if you ask more evaluators, you will see similar usability problems.
That's true.
If they are of the same like role or same stakeholder group, But if they are different stakeholder groups, I expect you will have different really outcomes.
What do you mean by stakeholders? What
Groups,
stakeholders?
for example,
levels of education, for
level of
example.
education, or maybe roles.
A child versus an adult.
Yeah.
You will have different results.
كيف child هذول expert في التخصص, expert في الarea, expert in usability evaluation.
No, we're talking about users now, not experts.
We don't have users here.
Who are but not necessarily, for example, توكلنا, there will be users using it. موعد, there will be users, but not necessarily, we're not talking about children as such, but there are different peoples of different experience levels, for example, of using apps. I don't expect somebody who is really new, novice user is going to be somebody who's like intermediate or maybe advanced user. So it will be classes of users. So I wouldn't rely on the feedback of just only one group of level of users. It has to be really varied in order to make it really methodologically sound from a research point of view.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's expert evaluation is the initial study you do, and this is done by expert. In usability, there are different tests for the usability. One of them is expert evaluation, such as heuristics, walkthrough. So the expert in the usability will evaluate such systems. If you want to study more of the systems, as I said in the future study, you can test it by testing the actual users through their reviews, through survey, through interviews, through experiments. So this is important. It tells the developers the mistakes they have, the usability issues they should avoid. Then if you want to do further study, if you want to find what the perception of users, as you have different categories of users, you need to test the actual users. You need to have a methodology that tests evaluate the response from the actual users, because you have different categories. But there is no relation between different categories and expert reviews. Experts are experts.
So in what basis you selected the experts?
In what basis?
What are your bases for selecting the experts?
I mentioned who are the experts in the paper. They must be people expert in this type of evaluation. They know heuristics, they've studied heuristics, they've done different study using heuristics, or participated in heuristic studies, so they know how to use this method, and they are majored in this area. I cannot bring someone from كلية الإدارة or another كلية and ask him to do this kind of evaluation. It must be someone who is in this major.
But usually when you assess usability, you don't just only rely on just only one class of real users like expert users.
But this is heuristics about. It is called expert reviews. This is the method about. It's about expert reviews. I'm not adding anything.
Are you in agreement? Are you in agreement that this is really good enough to assess usability?
I said this is initial one. You need it. It's important to mention. It is very useful when you are designing a new system, when a system is under improvement. But when the system has been used for a long time, then you need to take the actual user and only the actual user. These are new applications, especially توكلنا أنت بعد, have never been tested by anyone. And موعد and صحتي and صحة also new ones. But they are, before, maybe a few months before the application. So these new applications need to be tested. So first, you need expert reviews to indicate whether these applications meet the usability principles. If you find they are okay and maybe some usability problems you need to take care of, and you want to look at the response from the actual user, then you do the further study. It's not going to be enough if you want to know the perception of the user. This is not enough. It is designed.
Yeah.
It is designed for experts to know how these applications meet, how long these applications meet these usability principles.
Good, and this is exactly what I wanted really honestly to hear at the end. Really assessing this approach from one dimension, but which is not enough to really inform usability.
This is if journal paper is not going to be enough, but conference paper, this is very much.
No, I'm not criticizing your work, Dr. Abdul Mohsen. I'm just saying about I'm providing a critical evaluation of the approach itself.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Just a very quick comment. Thank you, Dr. Abdul Mohsen. I actually didn't know that the applications were new. And I was wondering myself, why did you use the word expert? It wasn't clear to me that is actually you were using experts to evaluate the applications. And I was under assumption that you were targeting users. And thank you for explaining it in detail. That's why I was looking at it from a different angle.
Thank you. We need to move into the. Thank you, Dr. Abdul Mohsen and Dr. Umar as well. Can you, Mohsen, can we go into the, لو سمحتي, into the
yes,
the recorded one?
Okay.
It's just a recorded one, so hopefully we'll be quick on that one, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
So this is one. Yeah.
This is 110.
الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Hello everyone. I am Prof. Zainah Hamdi from Al Ain University. Today I will present a web application for IoT device management. This model is developed in collaboration with my colleague Prof. Belqasim Athamna. For this purpose, I prepared the following plan. I will start by an introduction to describe the research context and the problem statement. Then I will summarize the similar works and their limitations. The third section describes the proposed model and its features, followed by the model flowchart and the model framework. Finally, I will conclude with the growing advances in IoT technology, which combines different devices with distinct function capabilities and communication protocols, it is essential to provide a platform that allows IoT users to interact with their IoT devices directly and be able to manage them with less effort via that platform from different locations at any time in order to protect their privacy when using IoT device. According to Gartner forecast, more than 20.4 billion Connect objects were in use worldwide in 2020. But this massive number of connected devices are invading our surrounding and capturing our sensitive data without our knowledge nor our permission. Therefore, the IoT users may need to find a way that enables them to view and manage their captured data by IoT device. Accordingly, we believe that this can lead to the improvement of their privacy perception of IoT devices. Therefore, the idea of establishing a user-friendly web-based interface for the Internet of Things come in, which will enable IoT...
Prof, it is about 14 minutes. Shall I go like that, or do I have to speed it?
I was waiting to see the research question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, just if she just allow to finish the introduction, and then we'll see if there is anything after that. Yeah.
Users to interact with their IoT device directly and to control and manage their IoT device. In simplest term, this is the means by which a user and its IoT device interact in order to privacy preserving. In this study, we are aiming to provide a web-based user interface that can address the challenges and provide real-time data control, and we have created a user interface prototype which can demonstrate the concept of IoT manager websites and provide a proof of concept implementation. In the same direction, many researchers have proposed solutions to allow IoT users to manage their devices via
Can you
web
move
page
on?
or
Yeah.
an application. PR addresses allow his devices. It is that uses an on the other hand, the system home system which is on the renewal and his colleagues propose smartphone computer to enable the user to monitor application when using IoT device. Our system is a web-based user interface that is like a web application. The significant features of the proposed web application are the ability to access information about the IoT connected device through the web site, such as device status. The device should be just connected to the web application by the user, and then they can see or access the device information. The ability to control different IoT connected devices remotely, such as switching on off a device, scheduling tasks, can enables the website besides to allow the user application to control the IoT device. The website contains information about IoT device and provides a user interface through which IoT device can be managed and controlled. By standardizing interaction between the website and IoT device, IoT devices can be managed from one platform without requiring a separate application for each IoT device. The function request module communicate with IoT device via the internet. Then the IoT device answer with a response displaying the functionality that calling by send create an account on the device on the website for the authentication purposes and log into their account to utilize the website and add the IoT devices that will be managed via the website. The website provides analytics services to leverage the data collected and its display the collected heuristical data about functionality requests and capacity device data for user authentication purposes that allow users to log in with confidential credential to only allow authenticated users to use the website and protect its research and disk anywhere at any time. The website will provide the users with a user interface that enables them to interact with the IoT connected devices and navigate between IoT applications to add their IoT device from them to the website. Finally, in this study, we explain our proposed solution for IoT device management website, its focus, design, and structure. It presents the main features of the website that enables IoT users to control and manage their devices from any location at any time with less effort. Besides, some related work has been addressed and compared to our proposed website in terms of addressing the previous work limitation and aiming to overcome them in our proposal. Finally, the detailed description of the website and its functionality have been addressed with the expected feedback that should user get after experiencing the website. As a future work, we will describe a study design that will evaluate the proposed prototype by developing research hypothesis, describing the participant, the needs, the instrument, the data collection procedure, and statistical tests needed for analyzing and interpreting data, outlining the system limitation.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your.
Thank you. Any feedback, please, from the audience? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, if somebody has got really an access to the Hive platform, you will find actually much of really this work is actually there's not really much new there. So this is my comment is about really about a web application for IoT, which has been really running through number of practical examples. So I didn't see much really new there. But anyway, this is my feedback. Anybody would like to add or just criticize?
Doctor, can you write this in the chat window, what you have mentioned?
Well, I have a problem with my hand, as you can.
Oh, salam.
I have an operation in my hand.
Okay.
You can tell us the spelling, H-I-V-O or H-I-V-E?
H-I-V-E. H-I-V-E.
Okay, H-I-V-E.
I apologize,
Okay.
Dr. Abdul Mohsen. I apologize. I have an operation in my hand. I can't really type.
So,
سلامات.
okay.
Allah يسلمك, inshallah.
Hive.com or what?
No, Hive. Yes, if you go to Hive, you just search Hive, Google Hive, and you'll find. Actually, I have it on my app. I control the central heating in my house while I'm away. So I can run things, especially freezing time now. I can just say, well, and other devices, lightning inside the house, everything, you can do it. It's one of those platforms called Hive. H-I-V-E, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I thought, Dr. Abdul, I thought you wanted me to type what I've said completely, but that's a short question, short answer. Very good, it's very helpful. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Thank you so much.
Is it hive.com, doctor? Is it hive.com?
Well, the application that I use, it's called Hive, and that I know of, it's very detailed. And
I think it's hive.com.
Yeah, and they sell products, a lot of products they sell.
Yeah, so I'm gonna post it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I put it in the chat.
Jazakallah khair, barakallah fik.
Jazakallah khair, doctor, as always.
Shukran. Okay, I've enjoyed the session with you so much, really. Thank you so much, and especially Dr. Abdul Mohsen for his يعني سعة صدره for the discussion, which was really very useful. But it wasn't really criticism at all of personal. It's about the really where we are really alluding next, inshallah, in further really inshallah development. Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul Mohsen, and the rest of the colleagues, of course, all of you.
Thank you, Prof. Auda. Thank you
for Aida as well, for her as well. Very precious, really listening and providing really sort of the openness to receive questions.
Thank you.
Of course, I will thank her at the end. She's the conversation coordinator, but I wanted to thank.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the session today, and the discussion really adds to me a lot. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best for all the participants.
Thank you, and I'm more than happy if anybody wants really to really sort of communicate with me to have any further really views or papers, etc. So my email, simply my personal email is mohamed.odeh@sky.com. Very easy.
اهلا وسهلا، فرصه طيبه. الله يعطيك.
انا اسعد فيكم ان شاء الله، الله يبارك فيكم. شكرا دكتور عبد المحسن as well from يعني جامعه الملك فيصل الدمام. I know it very well. I know جامعه الملك فهد بترول المعادن very well as well. I taught there for some time.
جامعه الملك فيصل بالاحساء.
اوكي ان شاء الله.
انفصلت جامعه الدمام وصارت الان جامعه اخرى.
ما شاء الله.
جامعه الامام عبد الرحمن.
ما شاء الله، مبارك ان شاء الله، مبارك ومبارك للجميع ان شاء الله. Thank you all. شكرا لكم جميعا for the very.
And we hope you join also the closing ceremony.
I will
after 10 minutes.
I will try. I'm going to a meeting now, and then I will just inshallah try to finish early. Ustadha Moza, thank you so much for your very precious support, and also for the really openness of really receiving requirements from us. Which
thank you. It's my duty. Thank you very much.
And you did make it very as well noticeable in terms of quality requirements. I don't want to say usability, but maybe as well I would say efficiency here, that we've been very efficient as well. Okay. Shukran.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All the best to you. See you inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.
Alaikum salam. Thank you very much.
شكرا دكاترة جميعا. مع السلامة.